The Handmaid's Tale continues to be the darkest, most intense drama series on TV for sure. And this year it was nominated for 8 Emmys. I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Daily. I am here with three-time Emmy nominee and winner, Samira Wiley. Samira, first of all, congratulations on your Emmy nomination. Talk us through the morning of.
Wow. Number one, thank you. Thank you very much. I've been in quarantine for so long that when my agent called me on the morning of, I picked up the phone, and he doesn't usually call me that early. I'm on the West Coast, so time difference, it was very early. And he's like, so apparently you just got nominated for an Emmy. And because I've been sitting on my couch for the past 6 months, I literally was confused. I was like, wait, for what? Like, I haven't been doing anything. um,
Let's
so
go.
but it never, ever gets old. It's such a dream to be able to be, to have dreamed about wanting to be an actor so long and to now be here. I mean, even hearing you say three-time Emmy nominee, I'm like, wait, who?
Yeah. Oh, that's me. Yeah, wow. I know, right? And because, like, you're still at the beginning of your very long and fruitful career. And to have 3 Emmy nominations under your belt, it's nothing to sneeze at. So, and what's really interesting is you were first nominated in the supporting category, and then you were nominated in the guest category, which you won in 2018. This year you're back in supporting, and it's funny that you and Alexis Bledel keep swapping over with your
Yeah, right.
television. It's so funny, hey? So, like, let's actually talk about your win back in 2018, because
Sure.
I remember like saying to a lot of people, Samira Wiley's going to win this thing, and I was really glad that you did. What was that like, winning an Emmy?
Oh, wow. Of course it was amazing. That day I remember I was like on the way to the Emmys and I had forgotten the tickets. And I'm like, well, it's gonna be fine. Like, I'm nominated. I'm also presenting tonight. It'll be fine. And we're like halfway there. We call to make sure it's fine. Not fine. They're like, you're not gonna get in without the tickets. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So we have to like go all the way back to my house, and I'm calling my stylist. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make the carpet, and like, you've got the dress, you've got everything. That's why they give you these things. They're gonna get taking pictures. I get there finally after picking up the tickets, carpet is empty completely. There's no one there, no photographers. And I'm like, these like designers they're gonna kill me because there's gonna be no pictures of me anywhere. And then I won. So there are pictures of me, and it was honestly like just the best night. And I made my stylist not kill me.
You had to basically win to make up for the fact that you were late. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's out well. You actually, I think I prefer that, to be honest, than just
Yeah.
hanging around the carpet. So it's pretty good. Let's talk about Moira's journey over last season, which kind of felt like it was on 600 years ago, but we'll just try to see if we can think back. Um,
Yeah.
so she's still up in Canada. She's a refugee from the dystopian Gilead regime.
Mhm.
Um, there's 2 episodes in particular where I was just really like, I found Moira so compelling. So the
Mm.
first one is Under His Eye, which I assume may be the episode that you guys submit. I'm not sure yet. I
Mhm.
guess that's something that you guys are thinking about.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of work with Alexis Bledel, speaking of her again, at the
Yes.
protest and, in the jail. Talk us through that episode. Were you proud of how it came out?
Absolutely. I'm very proud of how it came out. Being able to work with Alexis that season was a real treat. But even, for Moira, being in Canada and not having anyone who shares this experience with her, of being in Gilead. There's Luke, who she loves and who has become her family. But there's something about being able to have Emily, who's Alexis' character, who they weren't really there at the same time. But there's something about this shared experience of trauma where there doesn't even need to be a conversation about it. There's something unsaid, that there's comfort there of just knowing that you endured the same things that I endured. And to be able to have that finally for Moira in Canada, in Toronto with her, is invaluable. Being able to have those scenes with Emily, I believe that we go to jail that
Yeah,
episode,
yeah,
and there's that scene where we both acknowledge that we've done horrible things, that we've actually both killed a person, and it's like you feel horrible. Moira feels horrible for doing these things, but then in talking to Emily, she realizes that this is just survival in the world that Gilead has put us in. So there's a sense of normalcy, I feel, that Emily brings to Moira's life, and it's very validating.
yeah. Because like Moira even says, like this. Look at what that regime has done to people like
Hmm.
us. Like, and it was really interesting because we watch the show, we're really kind of confronted by what we're seeing, and it's beautiful to look at as well. Like, it's a real work of art, this show. But though that conversation reminded me as a viewer that these are real people who are living their lives, who are then subjugated, enslaved, and treated like dirt. And does that kind of thing resonate with you guys when you're in the moment and you realize, hey, hang on a second, like, these are people and they were treated like garbage?
I believe for me as an actor, there's definitely a line of protection for myself. We know the content of The Handmaid's Tale. And I think for me, I know being able to take all of that in and take it home with me at the end of the day is not helpful. So there's like a line of making sure that I am doing the best to portray exactly what is going on, but to not go so deep as to not be able to have moments of levity in between takes, because it is heavy. It's very heavy, the stories that we're telling and the reality that we are presenting. But I think that being on set with Alexis or being on set with whoever, there has to be moments of being able to survive, just like these women are trying to survive in the world. I'm trying to survive on set.
I can imagine. Like, yeah, I think more power to you. Can you imagine bringing that stuff home every night and kind of living and breathing it? You'd go insane. It'd
No,
just
yeah,
be too hard.
absolutely. I think that's the kind of actor I maybe was too before, like really getting out and working. But like when I was, in school at Juilliard, I just like thought there was something so sexy even about like getting lost in like these roles and not even being able to find your way out of it. But it can be very, very tolling, take a toll on you as an artist.
Yeah, and plus also your wife, your family, like I'm sure they really appreciate it too. Like,
Yeah.
it can be a normal Samira. The other
Yeah.
episode that I found so compelling was Sacrifice, and that's towards the end, when the Waterfords are up in Canada, and you get to have that really great speech where you explain to Serena, like, well, you tell her what happened to Moira, and then you also say that you've sinned a lot, but she's actually the gender traitor. And it was a real punch to her. And it was very, very satisfying as a viewer. Talk us through that scene.
Um, it's so interesting because I never usually have scenes with Yvonne. So there's this duality on set where I'm like so happy to be on set with Yvonne because I just love Yvonne. And then, on the other hand, you've got what's going on with Moira, of being able to finally confront this woman who embodies so much for Moira and what has happened to her friend, June. There I think that line is just so perfect. It's so apt that I always think about the women in Gilead and how there's like this false sense of superiority between like the wives and the handmaids, whereas I feel like the real reality would be if we all understood that we are women and we are under this collective oppressor. You know what I mean? And the power we could have if we all came together and realize what we can do together. But Serena has made the choice that is obvious to Moira to literally betray your sex, to betray the gender that you have been born into. So that's what that scene I feel like is about for Moira. It's not about who you choose to love. Because I choose to love a woman doesn't make me a gender traitor. You need to look in the mirror.
Yeah, love that. It just, for some reason, it really got me because it's for 3 seasons I've been wanting to shake people like Serena and say, wake up. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, we often talk about how culturally relevant and prescient the show is. And obviously, the world we live in now is not as extreme as Gilead, but sometimes I can see reality and fiction kind of blurring a little. It's very uncomfortable for me. What are your thoughts on that, especially over the last year or two?
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, I think I've felt like this from the very beginning. Um, it's in a way I feel like The Handmaid's Tale has been eerily prophetic even. There was that, like, that season, I believe it was season two maybe, where there's that scene between June gets to like see her daughter, and you see this real separation between their mothers and their actual offspring, and how horrible that is, you know. And then like all of a sudden in America, we're having children being separated from their parents at the border,
Yeah.
or you know, just things like that that are happening in parallel to what's happening on the show. And it's very uncomfortable. It's very, very uncomfortable. I mean, I even in the middle of, you know, season one, I had ideas of what was going to happen in America and what was happening in the show, and like feeling like it was a warning of like what could happen. And then this, you know, this election happened in our country that I have very strong feelings about. And everything got crazy.
Yeah.
Everything got crazy. We are talking about actual women's reproductive rights. We are talking about being able to make decisions for your own bodies. We were talking about everything that we're talking about in the show. And it is just scary.
Yeah, I mean, my colleague Charlie from Gold Derby, we say often that the show should be retitled Mike Pence Presents The Way Things Ought to Be. So, like, it's kind of freaking us all out. And you know
Uh,
what else is really interesting to me, and people like Bradley Whitford have said this to me often. The show's confronting, it portrays religious extremism, but most of all misogyny, and it kind of emphasizes that misogyny is actually deeply ingrained in our society, whether we like it or not. And the show, I think, does the best job at portraying that. What are your thoughts on that angle?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with him. I also think that this show, going back to, you know, just speaking about the character Serena Joy and using those words, gender traitor, I think that um, the idea that misogyny can only exist in men is not the truth. You know, there's the way she believes, even, and the way that she promotes and continues to you know, have misogyny run through her life and the society that she, you know, is what word am I thinking of? That she connects with, that she's associated with. Misogyny is something that women can also be champions for. And I think that that is something that I have also seen in America, and how I have seen women speak out on certain things that I'm like, wait, no, 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 you're literally speaking against your own interests.
Yeah.
You know, it's so being able to see it in that way too, I think that has really opened my eyes that like, well, this isn't just like women are not the only ones that can be feminists,
Yeah.
men are not the only ones that can be misogynists.
Yeah, that's actually really, really important to realize. And it brings me to this. So, what people love most about Moira, well, speaking for myself, but you know, the fact that you're nominated at the Emmys, they can't quit you. They love your performance. I think they also really do love your character and the way
Hmm.
you portray her. She doesn't sit back. She doesn't take any shit. She's really fierce. She's complicated. She's principled, and to me, she's kind of become a bit of an activist. Does that inspire you in today's age?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think I can be as badass as one, but whenever I think you know, I think I've had moments in my career where I question, you know, do I want to speak up about this? Is this a little too political? Am I, you know, my job as an actress, what does that mean? You know, am I supposed to stay in a certain lane? And I think that I know ever since being able to play this character starting in 2016, I have found a little bit more of my own voice, understanding the platform that I have and that people may be looking up to me to hear what I have to say. And I think if ever I get a little afraid, if ever I feel timid, I think about what Moira might do, and because Moira would go so far, she would go all the way out over there. I kind of like land somewhere in the middle, and I feel good about that,
That's
you
good.
know. But yeah, I mean, she's the person that's going to be out front, giving speeches and all of those things. So she has pushed me to be able to stand up for what I believe in and be vocal about it.
Yeah. I love it when performers and artists and anybody has a say about what they feel about what's going on. And I hate it when people say, oh, just shut up. You're just an actor. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, I think your voice is just as valid as mine. Like, what's the,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's really annoying. But anyway, speaking of the show, production on season 4 shut down because of the pandemic. I know that Elizabeth Moss was directing the episode 3, I think, when you guys had to stop for a while. Was that bittersweet to be back and then have to shut down so quickly?
Yeah, it's so it was so crazy. Also for me, like I had a pretty busy summer, so I had actually taken a really intentional break from work, from like all of the other things that I was doing that weren't handmaids. And so as soon as we got back, I was like, all right, I'm ready. I feel rested. I took those months off. Let's go. And then it was like, so people have been everyone's collective experience has just been like cooped up and sort of life being halted, but I feel like mine's been twofold.
Yeah.
there was like this the pause that I chose to take, and now this pause that I have no say in. So yeah, it's been very frustrating. Also when, like you said, when a show is so prescient, and I feel like every season has just shown how much more we have to say and how much more relevant things we have to contribute to what's happening right now. It doesn't feel good to have to stop like that.
I know, it's like there's so much that you want to say, and
Yeah.
thinking of like OT told me that, I mean, you're not allowed to give away spoilers, but he actually said it's the most revolutionary and daring the show has ever been in season 4, which was that's such a tease. Like, I'm like, really, dude? Like,
I know.
tell me everything. But like, so do you have any idea when the show might start resume filming, or are you all just still waiting for word?
Yeah, we're just wanting to get back to work, you know what I mean, whenever that is. But I know we don't have word or whatever what's gonna happen yet. But I do know, and the thing that like I feel like I'm trying to remind myself of every day is that like there are so many people right now in the world and in my country who do not have any kind of job security and are in a place that is much, much worse than me and my castmates who are so lucky to be on this show. So whenever I think about everyone else, I'm always like, look, we got it. We are okay. I'm blessed. It's just a TV show. You know what I mean? Like we'll get back when we're supposed to, but I'm thinking about everybody else as well.
That's right. You just go make a sandwich, get on the couch, and just watch more TV, or whatever you got to do. That's what we're all doing to survive.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Well, Samira, we won't see you on a red carpet this year, but we will hopefully most certainly see you on some kind of virtual ceremony. And
Yes.
again, congratulations on your Emmy nomination.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions, click subscribe, watch all of our great contender chats. We've got hundreds of them and they're all amazing.